Hello and welcome back to another Virtual Spec video. Today we're going to dive into building a simulator under $3,000 and more for what I would want to build for under $3,000, my setup, what I would like, and stuff like that. So first, let's hop right into Fanatec, where I'm going to be getting my direct drive system from. So now we're on the Fanatec website. I already loaded up the direct drive system I want, basically. So the difference between the 5 Newton meters and the 8 Newton meters is basically this cord right here, or you can see it down here, this cord. But you need to buy the 8 Newton meter one to be able to use the 8 Newton meters, because you can't use the cord with a 5 Newton meter one and get a 8 Newton meters out of it with a cord. So we'll configure this to the setup. So we're going to skip past all these wheels because they're not all the options are there. So we're just going to jump right into steering wheel. So the first wheel I'm going to do is this one, the BMW wheel, because for everything other than formula racing, like Euro Truck Simulator, Dirt 2, iRacing, another like GT cars or something like that, some easier cars, maybe some off-roading stuff on Beam, we'll be using that. So we're adding that to the cart. That's 135, and we're just gonna, don't need the quick release. And then the other wheel I want to get is this McLaren GT3 wheel. It's $200, but that really want that for formula racing, and I can use that besides in Formula One game. I can use that in iRacing and a set of courses, just driving other F1 cars. So I'm really excited about that, and other GT3 cars, stuff like that. So we'll just skip that. We don't need that. Pedals. I definitely want to get 3 pedals so that I can shift and actually get more engaged with the car and stuff like that. Not even though it is a video game, I still want to be able to shift. So I have a buddy that has the Club Sport Pedals V2, and I really like those instead of the inverted ones, because I've heard that people like the bottom plated ones more than the top ones. So I'm going to go with the V2s or the V3 Club Sport pedals. So once we have that selected, we can skip this. I don't need a damper kit, at least not yet. I don't need it. I can always add it back later. But this is bare minimum, or not bare minimum, but a good setup for starting and maybe a little bit more advanced simulator racing. And then definitely want to get a shifter, so we're going to add that. I don't need carbon fiber shift knobs. This is not necessary. The more weight, the better. So we don't need a shifter, we don't need another shifter, and I don't want to get a handbrake yet either, because I don't think it's really that necessary. I can always keybind the handbrake button to something else on the steering wheel or something like that if I really do want it for the time being. Otherwise I can always order it later, but I don't need it currently. And then we don't need any cockpit or mounting points because I have a different setup I want to use for that. So let's this load, we'll go to next. Okay, so this is the setup. Let's move that out of the way a little bit. So we've got an 8 Newton meter direct drive system with 2 wheels, a normal style wheel and a Formula One style wheel, and then the pedals and the shifter. So that's all we need basically, besides a cockpit, to start racing. So we're gonna add that here to get a budget. Fanatec, let's say that's $1,500. I don't know if they do free shipping or not. And then we can go to cockpit next. There's a couple options I'm looking for in a cockpit. So number one is a play seat. So there's 2 different styles of play seat. Is one of these, which is the formula style seat. So that's $1,100. But the only issue I see with this is here, this right here. With the laid back seating position, I feel like if I'm playing anything other than a formula racing game or anything other than I'm driving a GT3 car or a Formula One car, I feel like with a bigger wheel, it's just going to get in the way of my knees when I'm actually sitting down. And there's not really that much seating adjustment, but this is definitely on my radar for a seat I'd like to get. Another seat, let's say if I'd like, is not this one. Where's the white one? Oh, here. So here's the white one, and this is something a different buddy has that just also has a racing simulator. He has this seat, but in black. He says it's very rigid, it's comfortable. You can get seat adjustments for it to where you can lean this front up a little bit, so you can lean back a little bit more. And this is something that's on the budget, definitely, because the $350. But the main one I'm looking at is sick. So this is the seat, the cockpit. The only bad thing about it is it does not come with a seat. But I was looking online and stuff like that. You can get an expired racing seat for under $300-ish. And this gives you full adjustability. So you can sit, let's see, here's a picture of one. So here, we'll zoom in on this one. So here, you can see it's got a straight back, basically. Pedals are flat and everything. So this is more for like GT or dirt rally and stuff like that. Like normal racing, basically. No F1, no GT3 car, or even GT3 car, you'd be sitting like this. But the cool thing about this is that you can switch to this. You can fully adjust this back seating. You just adjust your bolts, basically. And then you can adjust these pedals fully. You can see these dashes in here to where this entire setup moves up and down, which I think is awesome. Here's your mounting plate for your shifter, and if you want to add a handbrake. And this looks awesome. It looks very rigid, well put together. So this is the one I'm really leaning towards to getting. The only negative thing I said was you have to get your own seat, but I don't think that's the biggest issue. Like, I am 90% sure these brackets are the same as they are in actual race cars. So finding a seat won't be difficult at all. So let's say this is the cockpit. So that's $1,000. And then a seat, let's say, is roughly $200 or something like that. And then the next thing I want to hop into is some peripherals. And the main thing I was looking at for peripherals, which is why I haven't decided between this seat and this seat, or this cockpit and this cockpit, is because of this, an ultra wide monitor. Now I already have 3 monitors. I'm currently only using 2, but this would be the center right in front of the simulator, so you could just see right away. You don't have to set up any more monitors. You just need one to an HDMI port to my PC, which wouldn't be an issue at all. So that's one thing I'm really looking towards, is if I go with this monitor, I would go with this play seat. But if I weren't to go with this monitor, since I already have 3 monitors that I can use, I would go with this seat, because the fully adjustability seems very intriguing to me, to where you can just switch on the fly, switch games on the fly, just a simple switch, and you're basically ready to go into a different game. And then some other peripherals I was looking at was a wireless headset, just because I don't want to have to deal with a cord, like if I'm moving my head or something like that, it just doesn't get in the way. And this also fits over my VR headset. So that's another thing I wouldn't need this monitor for, is because I already have a VR headset, so I could play these racing games in VR mode and then wouldn't have to worry about getting another monitor or something like that, which, I mean, makes my budget cheaper. But if someone else was doing it, then if you don't have a VR headset, I'd probably recommend doing an ultra-wide monitor with this seat, so that you don't have to worry about anything else, basically. That's it. Then I do recommend a wireless headset, just so that you don't have to worry about wires, like I said before, and it just makes your life easier. You can just basically walk around anywhere you want to go. You can set the sim up wherever you want. You can have it as basically farther away from your computer and stuff like that. The other thing I do recommend is a wireless keyboard, so that you don't have to worry about monitors anymore and stuff like that. So let's add that, and that would be, let's say, keyboard and mouse is, let's say, $40, and not $400, and then a wireless headset was $170. And then let's say like a side table to put your keyboard and stuff on, so it's not in the way, is I could make one myself, is like not $300, like $20. So another thing I was looking at was building my own cockpit, and that I got a picture today from one of my buddies that has built his own, and it's this. He said it's very secure. He's just spent under $500 building this. And that is something, like, here's another F1 side that looks so cool. But this just looks very appealing. Like, he just built it himself for under $500, which, I mean, seems legit. I mean, I would change some stuff, like how the TV was mounted and stuff like that. I'd make it a lot smaller and a little more far out. But then it also allows me to go with one of these bigger monitors, which is, I think at some point, even if I don't do it right away and do go with this seat, I would end up probably getting an ultra wide monitor. So let's say this is the budget. So we got 1,500 plus 1,000 plus 200 plus 40 plus 170, and that puts our total to 2930, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, so that puts us right below the 3,000 mark, and I think that's a very good setup right there. But let's say we want to do the other seat. So let's do Fanatec setup is 1,500, then the cockpit was 350. We don't need to buy a seat. We still got keyboard, which is 40. Then we have headset, which is 170. 170, and then a side table for $20, and then ultra wide for 1,000, and then the total. So that puts us, with the ultra wide monitor, that puts us at 380. So that's $80,000, or not $80,000, $80 right over the mark, right over $3,000. But I mean, you can just like cut the headset, find a different headset that's under $170, basically. Just cut that down by $100. I mean, you basically just need to be able to hear the sounds if you want to hear the sounds, or get some speakers. But so these are the two options, basically, is we go full out with the cockpit and just do VR stuff, use my old monitors and just build it like that, or we go with the lesser seat and get an ultra wide monitor. I mean, I'm not really decided yet 100%, but if you guys have any recommendations or what you would like to see more, let me know in the comments down below. But either way, I'm super excited about getting this stuff built. I'm really excited to get into actual simulator racing. I've wanted to for the past year or so. A buddy of mine built one, and it's always when I'm over at his house, we're also always racing on the simulator, and it's always so much fun. And I've been saying to myself that, like, I want to buy one, want to build one for over a year now, and I think it's about time that I actually do. So I just can't wait. It's going to be so fun, especially building everything together. I'm super excited for it. And I'm genuinely excited to get in the competitive scene. I want to see what it's like. I've watched other YouTubers with how they're racing and stuff like that online on YouTube, and they just seem to have a good time. I mean, it gets very competitive. They're like bumping people off the track. They get mad when someone else bumps it off the track, and they all go on the hot mics and talk to each other, which is very interesting. And like learning how to pit at the right time and stuff like that seems very interesting to me. So besides that, this is basically the entire setup. We've got the wheels set up. We got 2 wheels, pedals, shifter, and direct drive system. Then we got an option between 2 different seats, which both look like they'll do the job 100% perfectly fine. Then some peripherals, headset, keyboard, and possibly a game monitor. But since I already have a VR headset, I might just go with this one. And if I want to play something else that doesn't allow VR, I'll probably use a monitor or something like that, or a TV or something like that, just something that has high hertz. But yeah, like I'm so excited. Like, this is going to be so much fun, and I can't wait to build it, especially being able to record everything and stuff like that. It's going to be super fun. I might even live stream a bit of it and stuff like that. But I don't know exactly yet when I'm going to be building it and ordering stuff. I did notice that the Fanatec stuff was available soon, which I think is end of February, which I think most of this stuff was. But thank you guys so much for watching another video, and I can't wait to show you guys what we decide to build with, what parts we go with, what cockpit we go with, and building the series with you guys. You're going to just catch it all on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching another video.